In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create an AI system that scrapes Reddit and solves painful business problems. I will be sharing 3 different workflows that you can copy paste and use in your own business. Firstly, I will be looking into the system that helps you to get and track customer support in the valuable subreddits that you might want to monitor. Secondly, we'll be using Reddit to get business ideas, to think about the new product features, and just basically building the business around the insights we will be getting from Reddit. And the first scenario will let you to chat with any subreddit you want. So basically you could have an AI assistant that you could analyze and search the subreddits around business, around AI, or whatever topic you would like. And this AI agent will answer any questions you might have, provide you with links and all the necessary information. So that is the systems that we will be creating today. I will walk through this step by step. So if you want, you can recreate the systems on your own. And if you don't want to bother at all, this whole system will be down in the description below. So you could just copy paste it and use in your own N8N workflows. So this whole system will be used in N8N, so it's a best no-code platform that you will have. So it might at first look intimidating, but I will show you this whole process step by step. And before we go to the practical part, I want to give you a short disclaimer. So this video is inspired by 2 wonderful creators. So the first one is Greg Eisenberg and his video, How I Use Reddit and AI to Find Winning Startup Ideas. So this video inspired me to look at Reddit in a different way, like in a place where you can get all these wonderful business insights and ideas. So I really recommend you to check this out. One problem with his video is that he's using a paid tool, gummisearch.com. So in the third workflow, in my own video, I'll show you how you can create a very similar system on your own completely for free. And the second video that inspired me to create this video was created by AI Workshops. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can recreate it in more details, as well as I will be providing you with free templates. You don't need to go to any community or anything like that. So all these templates will be down below. With that said, let's get to our N8N and start building this workflow. And before we move to each building phase, I want to show you the end results that you will be getting. So at first, we'll talk about the first scenario, that is the customer support and sentiment analysis flow. So in this scenario, you can imagine that you are a product builder. And in this case, I take example from NordVPN, where we have a subreddit around their product, where people just shares their insights, their negative or positive comments, they give some feedback, as well as try to understand how to better leverage their product. So basically there is a full subreddit of this customer insight gold that you can scrape and get this wonderful data. Of course, you can just read through this and see how people are using it, what are the main sentiment, but it would take so much time, and I want to show you the automatic system that you can use. And the end result of this workflow will be filled Airtable base with the most important information from our posts. That is title, text, author, upvotes, date, URL, and last part will be the sentiment analysis. So basically we'll ask AI to analyze the sentiment of specific post and evaluate if it's a positive, negative, or neutral. So that's the end result we are seeking. And getting back to the flow itself, in N8N, we have a basic test workflow trigger. So of course in the production phase we might include a schedule trigger, basically that would start every day or every week at a specific time. But for testing purposes I have this testing workflow, test workflow trigger. Second part is our Reddit get all post node. So basically N8N has its own integration with Reddit that makes this scraping very easy. You just need to find the Reddit node right here and select whatever operation you would like to have. So you could create a post, delete posts, create comments, analyze profiles or subreddits. And in this case, we're just getting a post from a specific subreddit. That's why you should select get many post node. And when you select it, you will have this functionality right here. And yeah, so I won't repeat myself because I already did that, but that's how it would work. Now, when you are in this Reddit subnode, you will need to connect my Reddit account to fill this data. So if you didn't do that before, you just need to press create new credential and open the docs that that N8N will show you. And of course, you'll need to have a Reddit account as well as create an app that will help you to connect to your own N8N. So it's a pretty easy process. You just need to scroll down and select the third-party app URL. You will need to create another app and just fill the name of the app. So I could just inserted N8N automation. You can leave the description blank or just write one sentence, whatever you want. In the about URL, you don't need to paste anything basically, and the redirect URI will be provided in the N8N account. So you'll just copy paste this, insert like this. For the example's sake, I could also write N8N automation 1, automation 1 and nothing. You'll just select that you are not a robot and you will create an app. And when you will be creating that app, you will getting two information tabs. So one is for client ID and the client secret. So I can quickly show you. When we're selecting this N8N automation 1, you'll have your own secret key as well as the ID. So the ID is below the app description. So we just copy paste to here, and the secret key is right here. So we also copy paste it, and you'll be just connecting it to the Reddit account, and that will be it. Now you can scrape and analyze Reddit as much as you want. And now when we are connecting to the Reddit, we need to make sure that we get that operation get many, and we need to include the subreddit we want to analyze. So in this case, I will be analyzing NordVPN. So make sure to always include the full title of a subreddit. So in this case, it's NordVPN, just like that. And I just insert this. I limit to 30 posts. Of course, you can do that with hundreds of it. And if you want to get all, you just need to select this return all option. We'll be doing that in the third workflow. We'll be scraping all the subreddit to chat around with it and get all this data, so stay tuned for that. But in this case, I'm just selecting the 30 post limit, and I'll categorize it by new post. Of course, you can select the hot post, rising post, or the top post as well. But it doesn't matter in this case. I just want to show you the principles. And when we selected all these settings, now we can just test step, and we'll be getting all this information from the subreddit. So we'll be getting the latest 30 posts from the subreddit NordVPN, where we'll be getting the subreddit title, the text, the author full name, the title of a post, and all this different data. That is a lot, you know, so there's a lot of data. Now we want to a little bit filter it and clean it. So I want to simplify the data. That's why I'm using edit fields, where I just filter all this necessary information from my own flow. Basically, now I want to drag and drop the data I want to get. So the title, I can select the title in the subreddit and drag and drop it. I already did that, so I won't repeat the same process. The same is with the text. So the self text is that node, and I just drag and drop and do the same process for all the data I want. So take the data about the text, about the author, the upvotes, the date, and the URL. With the date, there's one little catch, where subreddit provides you with a date with unformatted date. So that's why you need to format it a bit. And I also written a very simple function where I select the date and format it into the preferred format. So as you see from the subreddit, we get this date in a very strange format, and now we want to format it to look like something like this. And how we do that, we basically just copy paste this, insert this date, we select the dot and two dates time, we select the dot once again, format it, and insert the format we want. So the anytime does this automatically, and we get the data nicely formatted. So that's how you can do the same process on your own. And with that said, now we have all this wonderful data from the subreddit, so we can test it once again, and we'll see that our table is nicely formatted with the latest information we have. And you map all these values. The last part will be to add a sentiment analysis node. So a sentiment analysis node basically will just take the text from that specific subreddit and will analyze it. So sentiment analysis node is a native node. You could just find it in our init, select it, and just add the text you want to analyze, the sentiment you want to analyze. So in this case, I will just select the edit text field, and we will add this text, and this sentiment analysis node will provide us with a summary of each and every text sentiment analysis in a negative, neutral, or positive way. And after this, we see that we got like 2 positive nodes, 10 neutral, and 8 negative. If you want to know more about how this works, basically it has a prompt. So basically we could select the sentiment categories if you would like. By default we are free, positive, neutral, and negative, as well as the system prompt you could copy paste. So basically it says you're highly intelligent and accurate sentiment analyzer. Analyze the sentiment of a provided text, categorize it into one of the following categories, use the provided formatting instructions, only output the JSON. So that's how this sentiment analysis node works. And the last part is to connect to the Airtable and update our table. So we do just that, and you just need to select the respective values as we did before with the title, text, author, upvotes, date, URL, and the sentiment, and make sure to write this typecast option. That's why we are sure that the data and all the fields will be matched correctly, and that's basically it, what you need to do. And now we can just test workflow and see how our red database will be filled with 20 values with the content from the subreddit as well as the sentiment generated. And when the system worked through, we see that we got like 20 different rows generated with all the content from the subreddit, the text of it, the author, the upvotes, the date, the URL, and the sentiment generated by AI. So that's basically the result of a first sentiment analysis flow. We get all this data from it, and now we can move on to the next part. We'll be integrating a more complex workflow. And now we'll be moving to the second part. We'll be scraping the ready data, but instead of analyzing for sentiment or getting the customer support message, we'll be checking if the subreddit has available business ideas, and if it has, we'll be asking AI to generate any new business idea or a unique selling point for that exact problem the customer or the redditor is facing. And before we start, it's useful to understand what the end result we'll be getting. So as in the first instance, we'll be filling down the Airtable base, we'll be inserting the title of the post, the summary of the post. So basically we'll be summarizing all these different business problems. We're getting the original text, the upvotes, the date, URL, and most importantly, the AI provided response of what business feature or services we could sell for this exact redditor according to the problem it has. So that is like the end results, and now we can let's back to the building and see how we can implement this into the practice. And of course we'll be using the same subreddit node to get all the posts, but in this case we'll be selecting the different subreddit. I select the subreddit that is called small business. It's basically all when people are asking for advice, saying their problems that we are facing, and getting all this different information and data. And what we want to do, we want to analyze these subreddits, check if all of this is available business ideas or product features, and think through how we can solve these problems by suggesting our services, suggesting our products, or just giving any feedback for them to be available asset in the community we want to be in. So that's basically the whole concept. And when we are in the NE10, we see that the process is pretty much the same. We will analyze the subreddit. We'll be checking if this subreddit has exact text, not an image, for example. And if it has, we'll set the values of that post, basically as the same in the first scenario. We'll be giving this data to the AI to check if it's a problem, exact problem that we could solve. We'll measure the data and we'll ask for AI to summarize the problem or the post, as well as to generate an idea. And we'll be updating the Airtable as well. So let's get started. I'll show you this whole process step by step once again. So we select the subreddit, we include the subreddit title, and we also will be limiting to the 30 different posts. In this case, we'll be selecting not the latest ones, but the top posts. I can just quickly press test tab. We get all this 30 top posts with all this different data. We can pin this data for future use. And now we'll be using the if node. So basically we want to filter these subreddit text for if the subreddit got more than 5 up. So basically we will be checking if it's a valuable post, if people are interacting with it, as well as if it has that text itself. So basically we are selecting the if the JSON self text. So basically if the text exists. So all these parts are self-explanatory, so we can move on. And then after we test it, we see that results we got, only the 9 outputs have 5 upvotes or more, as well as the text exists. So that's why we shorten our selection, and we are using only the true items because we want to get only the best performing post in this case. Of course, we can just limit it to like 3, for example, and we'll be getting way more, so we can get like 19. So I can leave this as it is to get more data because it will be more interesting and representative. After that, I can quickly show you the same node. So basically I just copy pasted this whole node that we are having to get the title, the text, the author, upvote date, URL. So basically the same information. And we will be giving this information to the AI to detect if it's a valuable business problem. Because not every problem that is inserted in the small business subreddit is a valuable business problem that you as your business owner can solve. So that's why we need to filter down all this data. And because we are dealing not with a very structured data, but human emotions, human text, we cannot write a simple code node or problem or regex to filter out these problems. That's why we are using AI to detect and to read the text and detect if it's a valuable business problem we can later on use. Of course, the prompt itself is the most important part. That's why we need to check this out. As in the last part, I was using GPT-4o mini, and I just include one prompt that basically says, read this text and evaluate if it's a potential business problem or not. If it's not a business problem that you can solve, output no. If it's a business problem, output yes. This business problem should be solvable with the help of AI technology or any other B2B services. So basically we just need to insert a little bit context about ourselves, so how we can solve this problem and how we can sell our automation solutions or any other services in that particular case. And we ask for it to write only one word, nothing else, and insert the edit fields tab with the text below, so we can just quickly test this tab to see the end result. And if I remember correctly, we'll getting 19 different response, yes, no, yes, no. As you see, that's the only response we are getting from this AI model. And basically later on we'll be filtering this data to only interact with business problems, not with all the subreddit posts, but only with those that has a real valuable business problem. So we got the answer from the OpenAI, and from the subreddit. So basically now we need to merge these two different data sources because we couldn't reference the AI response later on if you wouldn't merge this data. So that we are using merge subnode. So we could just select the merge and get it. This whole subnode works in a very simple way. We just need to press it and select how many inputs we'll be getting. So in this case, we get 2 inputs. We will select the mode to combine and combine by position. So we can just quickly test it and see how this whole works. So we get like the title, the text of a subreddit, as well as the response from ChatGPT. So we say that this is a yes, and this is a business problem that the Redditor shared. So we can just look at some shorter one. So starting a business is an adventure full of wins, mistakes, and unexpected lessons. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice before launching your business, what it would be? So this is like not a business problem. As you see, it is selected by AI as no. And if you can look it through yes, and we can read, hey all, we are a small fully bootstrapped software company getting prepped for our launch. And asking kindly, what should I do? And also if someone could explain to me if your similar thing happened before. We get a lot of data, of course. Now will be the most important part will be to summarizing it, to understand this whole problems, and ask for AI to write some business ideas that we might use. So later on, we are just filtering this up, and by inserting the filter, it basically sees if the AI response is yes. So only for the business problems, we want to move on to generate solutions for those business problems, as well as summarizing the data. So we will filtering this around that, and we are inserting 2 AI nodes, so one with summarization chain. So basically we are also using the native N8N node for summarization. So we could just select it right here and select the summarization chain. So this whole summarization node will just read the text and summarize it. You don't need to change anything else. You can use the default node, of course. If you want a shorter summary, you can just use less characters and etc. But in this case, we are getting like all this summarized data. So a user is seeking advice on selling handmade goods on Instagram. A brand experienced a drastic drop in Instagram engagement. The discussion compares tax liabilities for a single member LLC versus an LLC taxed. It's an S corp and all the different things. So we are a bunch of information, and we'll be inserting this information to the Airtable to get a better context. And the last part is like the most important one, because in this case we'll be generating business ideas or future ideas, or how we can insert these ideas into our own business. So we can just select it. Once again, I'm using GPT-4o Mini, and I write a prompt. Of course, you don't need to copy paste it because all these templates will be down below, so you can just insert it and use it on your own. The prompt itself says that, hey, you are an AI solutions architect analyzing Reddit posts to identify automation opportunities and suggest relevant solutions. So that's why I'm inserting the AI automation, because I'm an AI automation agency owner. So that's why I want to provide some AI solutions. Of course, you would adapt it to your own context or your own features you would like to have. Your task is to analyze the Reddit post for specific pain points or operational challenges, and your output will be 3 sentences per section. So basically we'll be asking for it to say automation potential, what automations we could make for this business, as well as what solutions we could implement for this business to solve its problems. And we include some example analysis and insert the text that we want AI to use. So that's why we are using the filter text, and we are selecting only those nodes that are real valuable business problems, as we got from previous AI node. And that's basically it, only one user prompt. And now we'll be merging all this data once again from 3 different inputs. So we'll be merging this information from the filter node, from a summarization, change, and idea generation node. And all of this information will be updated into the Airtable. So once again, you'll need to select the Airtable and map out all these different values. Now I cannot map out because I didn't inputted any data, but I can just quickly show you how this whole process will work by pressing the test workflow once again. And now the AI nodes will be generating. It will evaluate if it's a business problem. It will summarize it, as well as ideate some new solutions for this specific business. And after that, we'll be merging all this data and getting wonderful Airtable dataset set up. So I'll just wait for a couple of seconds and I'll show you the end results that we'll be getting. And yeah, after a couple of minutes, we got all this wonderful data. Now we can just quickly check the results. So for example, we could select the 4 posts. So Instagram ads engagement is like 50 per post, a summary. So we get not only the title, but the summary of a post. We can see the original post. So a brand I support, my partners used to get 90% of their sales through organic Instagram post. And yeah, we are spending 2K per month to get the same sales we could get organically before. So as you see, that's like the exact problem the business is facing. Before we getting a lot of organic traffic, now we get less. So how we can automate this basically, yeah. So we are also seeing the upvotes number, the date, the original sub post, as you see, and the last part is to look at through the automation potential. So we see that the post highlights a significant decline in organic engagement on Instagram. So that is basically the problem. And now we get to the solution suggestion. We could implement social media analytics tools. We can implement the AI analytics tools like Hootsuite or Sprout Social. We can use AI-driven platforms like Jarvis and Canva for automated content generation. And we can optimize the posting schedules or whatever. So yeah, that's basically a good insights. We could reach out to this business owner and provide with the services. Either we are generating content for them or just some internal AI operation. So that is a good place to start on building this whole system on your own and see how you can leverage Reddit to get business insight and solve painful business problems that you might have. So that's how this whole system really works. I hope you liked that. And in the third part will be the most interesting part, because we'll be generating a custom chatbot that will answer questions based on the subreddit's analysis and subreddit posts that we are having. So let's get started. I'm really happy you are here until now, and now I'm showing you my full process on how you can build fully working AI agent that has a RAG functionality based on the subreddit you want. So basically we'll insert all the RAG functionality to this agent to be able to respond to user queries based on the subreddit's information, and we'll be scraping whole subreddit. So what subreddit we'll be analyzing? I chose NA10 subreddit, so I really recommend you to join this wonderful subreddit. You'll get more information around NA10. I scraped all this subreddit, and now I have a fully working AI agent that can ask queries around, and I will get responses based on the subreddit content with full URLs and sources it took. So basically we'll be recreating the gummy search tool I referenced earlier in the video, and I can just quickly show you the results, and after that I will show you the process of how you can build this whole workflow for you as well. Open chat and I'll ask a simple question, for example, best ways to scrape Google Maps. So I just recently, last week, I uploaded a video around this, so you could also check this out. And I hope this AI agent will also reference to my post around the best ways to scrape Google Maps that I posted in NA10. So as you see, we get the response from the AI agent. We have a response saying that we can use NA10 and Epify Google Maps extractor. So I see that it's basically referencing my content. If I press this link, I see that this subreddit appears with all the comments as well as the video to my video. And the second way is to use custom web scrapers in N8N. So we also get the link to that 20 days ago, posted by Infinite Ad 8295. So thank you for that, as well as the AI integration for data enhancement. So that's how we can use Google Maps in this way, as well as general web scraping queries with respond with a comment around web scraping possibilities. So I think we can also look through this data as well. So how this agent pretty much works, it analyzes the vector store and responds according to the data it have. So that is the end result. Now I want to show you how you can create this whole process from scratch. I'll go to the new workflow and I'll basically insert a new trigger. That will be a chat trigger. And now we'll have this trigger. Now we go to the AI agent node and select the AI agent. And now we need to connect memory as well as the tools that this tool will be using. So for the chat model, we can select the OpenAI node. That's the easy part. For a memory part, we'll be using Postgres chat memory, and this tool will be using a memory from the Postgres to reference all these different nodes from the Supabase. So you'll need to connect and create your own Supabase account, because in the end you'll get all this wonderful data start from the subreddit with all the post information as well as the URL links to the exact subreddit post. So that's why we need to create our Supabase account to be able to store this data as well as to reference this data. And yeah, if you want to do that, you'll need to go to the supabase.com. So I can quickly show you. And the supabase.com is a free base that you can use for many different purposes. And in this case, you'll be using as a RAG memory part. And what you'll need to do, you need to go to the dashboard and create your own workspace as well as the project. So as well, I created my own project called N8N. And after a couple of minutes, when you're creating your when you created your own project, you'll need to press connect button up here. And in the connect button, you'll scroll down to the transaction pooler, and you'll get some parameters that you will need to copy paste. So you'll need to copy paste the host parameter, port parameter, database, user, and that's it. And you'll need to copy paste this information by creating the Postgres chat memory, by selecting create new credential and inputting all this data like host, like database, user, and the password. So it will be the same password that you created your account, and that's basically will be it. After that, you'll be able to connect and reference this Postgres account. You can leave this information as it is. And for example, you can update the contact select to the 10 if you want to this agent to respond to get information from the last 10 messages, not only 5, for example. But in this case, it doesn't matter. And when you do that, you'll need to connect the tool, and we'll be using the same Supabase vector store tool. We'll be selecting it, and we'll be referencing the table from the Supabase. So basically, we need to create the table, as I already showed you, that will have all this information from the subreddit. And how you can do that? There's a very easy way you can follow. Is to go to N8N docs, find Supabase vector store node, and there we will be referencing you to the quick start for setting up your vector store. When you press that, you can copy paste the SQL command and go back to the Supabase and include and press the SQL editor and copy paste the table. So basically, this instructions will generate you with a table just like I have. And after that, when you press to the table editor, you'll have a table called documents, and it will be blank. Of course, it wouldn't have any information like I do, because only sometime you will insert this information. Yeah, so when you created this table, now you need to get back to the N8N, and we'll be selecting the Supabase vector store. We'll include the title for this vector store, so we could say documents. We'll say go find information about subreddits that user ask. So we could say Reddit documents. We'll find this documents table from the Supabase, so you just need to reference it and select the include metadata if it's not done automatically for you. And the last part will be to select the embedding for Supabase vector store. So we'll be selecting the embedding from OpenAI, and the text embedding free small will be the case. So now we basically set up our own agent. Now we can test it. Of course, it wouldn't work because we don't have any data inserted into our own Supabase account. But we can say hello. Yeah, it also went to the Postgres. It didn't find any information, and it responds hello, how can I assist you today? So basically this agent worked, but it doesn't reference to any Supabase vector store because of a prompt and because we didn't include any information to our vector store. So that's why I want to show you the second workflow that I created for you to insert the information to Supabase and have this data filled in. So the second workflow will be called Reddit Vector Store, and I'll also include that in our free resource in the description down below. Basically, we'll be scraping the Reddit data, and now we won't limit it into nothing. Now we'll be scraping whole data that we can access in subreddit. So in this case, I selected the Reddit node, I selected get many post operation, and I included the Nathan subreddit, and asked for me to return all of the posts. So as you see, we got 980 different posts in this particular subreddit. After that, we are filtering it to get only the subreddits that has text in it. And after that, we insert one edit fields tab. And in this case, we won't need anything else except data. So that's basically the text that we are having and the URL. For this, agent should be able to reference to the specific URL. So basically to the specific subreddit post that we want to later on know about. So to get this URL, we need to include that as well into our edit fields. So the text and the URL. And we get like 861 posts with different URL each time. And after that, we will connect it to the Supabase vector store. So once again, we will find Supabase vector store, not Supabase, but Supabase vector store. You will select it, and you'll connect your Supabase account with the same credentials you have before. The operation mode will be the insert documents, and you won't need change anything else except to look and find that exact anytime table you created. So in this case, it will be called documents. And after that, you'll need to do a couple of more things. So the first one will be to select the embedding node. So in this case, I also selected the embedding free small as I did before. And for the document part, you'll need to insert the default data loader. So once again, you'll need to find this if you want, default data loader. And when you select it, you'll need to change a couple of things. So the first thing you'll need to change is to include the load specific data into your mode. And for that, you'll need to reference the data we get from the edit fields tab. So basically JSON.data. And for the metadata, you'll need to reference the exact URL you're getting. So in this case, I just called it URL and reference it from the edit field tab. And for the last part is to include the text splitter. So basically I selected the recursive character text splitter. You will also find this in the N8N. Recursive character text splitter. And after that, you're good to go to scrape all this data. So I won't do that once again because it takes time and memory, so I don't want to do that, but I can show you my exact execution the time before. So we could select this and debug in editor and pin. We got my last load from it. So as I already mentioned, we got like subreddit 980 subreddits. We filtered it down and we inserted this into our Supabase vector store. So I also stopped this workflow because it takes too much time and I wanted to generate you a simple video. But basically that's how it works. We get this whole data, and if you did everything correctly, your own database will be populated with all this information. And when you have this information, you can go back to the workflow, to the agent that is referencing the same table, and you can just quickly chat with it and ask for it to respond to any information you want. So in my own example, I created a very simple message. I just said that you are a helpful Reddit analysis assistant. You always check the vector store to provide response. To the user, you will be using Supabase vector store tool to provide responses. In your every response, provide the exact URL to the Reddit post you are referencing into. And basically just like that, we have this whole subreddit agent that will help chat with us and is able to respond to the queries we having. So I can once again show you the example. What do you know about the Docker in this case? So we can see how this agent basically goes back to the Postgres chat memory. I hope it will reference the vector store and it will provide us with response. So yeah, we repeat the same system prompt, and it has the context of our conversation. Now it goes back to the Supabase vector store. It references query Docker, and it gets back the response. So Docker is a platform that enables developers to automate the deployment of applications inside lightweight containers. So we have information about the installation. So if you want, you can read through this wonderful N8N post, comprehensive guide, secure N8N with Cloudflare, Zero Trust, and Docker. And we get some common issues. So of course, it is not like the full database around the Docker, it's only the subreddit information. But as you see, it's working, and now we can test this out and see how it really works. In this case, I wanted to show you the N8N example, but in real-world applications, you could even create a chatbot that would work pretty much the same as Gummy Search tool, where you could ask about new business ideas, user problems, or whatever is of interest to you. So it's a very powerful automation. I think it's one of the greatest automations I've ever made. So I really enjoyed while building it, and I see that there's a huge potential for it to work in real-world applications. So I hope you will enjoy this and try it as well. As I already mentioned, full templates and workflows will be down in the description below. And I want to wrap this up. It's a way longer video than I expected, but I hope that it provides as much value as possible. I showed you what I know and what I built this week. I hope you will enjoy it and try this out, and we'll get some real actionable results from it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. If you like the content, it will mean a lot for me, and it will showcase what content should I build in the future. And see you next week.